I'm back with an important update because something just happened that I think every Nigerian should pay attention to. The federal government is telling us that the reforms are working. We are hearing about trillions of naira saved from fuel subsidy removal and foreign exchange reforms. We are hearing about increased government revenue, more money going to the states, more money going into education, and now even recovered funds being directed towards student loans through NELFUND. So on paper, that sounds like progress. But here's the question nobody should be afraid to ask. Are Nigerians actually feeling that progress? Because there's a very difference between saying the economy is improving and the average Nigerian actually experiencing an improvement in their daily life. If food is still expensive, if transportation is still putting pressure on families, if electricity and other basic expenses keep rising, if salaries are not increasing at the same speed as the cost of living, then ordinary Nigerians have every right to ask, where exactly are the benefits of these reforms? And this is where Rufai Oseni's reaction becomes very, very interesting, because he didn't simply look at the government's numbers and accept them. He challenged the way those numbers are being presented. He also questioned the money being allocated to NELFUND, the education system itself. The government claimed about 15 trillion naira in subsidy savings. The value of that money after the naira lost so much purchasing power, and even the arguments surrounding fuel prices. And there's another important question here. If the government says these painful reforms were necessary to save Nigeria from a bigger economic crisis, then how long should Nigerians be expected to keep waiting before they actually feel the recovery? Because 2027 is approaching, and ultimately, Nigerians, not government statistics, will decide whether these reforms were worth it. So don't just listen to the figures, listen to what Rufai is saying, and then ask yourself one simple question. Based on the way you are living today, has your life actually improved enough for this government to deserve your vote again in 2027? Now take a listen.
I get what you were saying about NELFUND, but I think there's already an education tax taken from corporates.
But that's what I meant to.
Yeah.
So it goes to tertiary institutions, not to NELFUND.
So if you have that tax already, they should even account for that one first.
Yes, I said a percentage of that
You get.
should go to, yeah.
Rather than now stressing us. See, they have money to fund their fund. Stop thinking that they don't have money to fund their fund. It's all the corruption that is not going to allow them to fund their fund. I can tell you how to fund NELFUND for the next how many years. How much does NELFUND take in here? About 100, 200 billion?
Yes, about.
I can tell you how much. Oji River. That's how to fund NELFUND. Oji River Federal Technical College. Cumulatively, how much is there? How much is the budget for the trillions? About $1 trillion in budgetary fee. They've snuck in a lot of projects there that we know that are not necessary. So they should go and take money from all the budget padding they have done. And they've using money to take money out from the budget. They should go and take money from there to fund NELFUND. And fund it accountably. That's just it. But see, the problem is not even about funding NELFUND. You are funding NELFUND, ASU is on strike. No big juju be that. You have not met ASU agreements. Did we take the story on Wall Street that Imo students were writing exam?
And
you are funding NELFUND, ASU is on. No big juju be that. That's witchcraft of the highest order. So fix the problem in the educational sector. Meet those demands. And those were the things we had against this NELFUND in the first place. Let the priority be for where you ought to fund. You can't be saying you're funding NELFUND, doing tokenism with the students. Then, at the same time, those that are supposed to teach them are not available and are not well. And the quality of the education they are getting is wrong. We've seen people do things as regards education, not tokenism. Our law spent about 40% of his budget in the Southwest to do free education. Those were people that were ready for education, not this tokenism we are doing. Secondly, Mr. Taiwo Yedele, you listed some things there that I want to challenge quickly. You said that we saved about 15 trillion for subsidy. I mean, so.
So the amount saved was 15
trillion.
Yes, 20.4 trillion additional resources via subsidy savings.
Or 20 trillion. Mr. Taiwo Yedele, in 2024, we paid subsidies on the NNPC book 7.1 trillion. Can you minus it from that 15 trillion fund? It's a form of subsidy. Can you minus it from the money that you claim we saved? How much is going to remain if you say we've saved 15 trillion from subsidy? And also, Mr. Taiwo Yedele, do you also remember that we're already in an hyperinflation environment? What's the true value of the so-called 15 trillion? Because that's a devalued 15 trillion. We forget that. You see, we play the money illusion when it favors us. Because the government is so quick to say, oh, the reason the debt went up is because of the devaluation, isn't it? But let's not play that same money illusion back on them and say, what's the value of the money? Then he said we increase wage. Why did we have to increase wage? Well, because of the attendant inflation from all this devaluation. So you think you were going to do those things and you were not going to increase wage? was because of the attendant problems. And this, what is it called? They are telling us, petrol will have been 3,000 naira, the song that they are singing. Anyway, I'm happy Mr. Tawele qualified his own. Mr. Zak didn't qualify his own. Mr. Tawele would have been on the black market. Who told him so? Where did he get the empirical numbers that will have been 3,000 on the black market? Where is the refinery that they took $3 billion for? Is it because around the time you remove subsidy, Dangote and refinery are come on stream? We will have been in deep problem. So the man you people should thank is Aliko Dangote. Because your own refinery that was supposed to act as buffer, today you can't account for the $3 billion that were spent. We remember how some people told us, smoke, is coming out. Refinery is working, smoke is burning, fire is burning, refinery is working. Where is the refinery today? So it's Aliko Dangote you people should thank. Now you are now couching it in such a way that they remove subsidy at the same time and everything. If not for Aliko Dangote, fuel will have been thousands of naira at the pump. At least because we have a refinery that covers close to over 90% now, they say, of our daily need, and the man can give it to us at Sunday price. That is the real Kini.
They said it wouldn't have been viable.
It wouldn't have been.
If not for the policy direction. So Dangote refinery itself would not have been viable.
That would not have been viable if not for the policy direction. Yes. That it would not have been viable.
Fuel will be sold at 200 naira.
It will be sold at 200 naira. All right. Okay. Yes. Fuel will be sold at 200 naira and everything. At least he's going to sell to external markets. Secondly, they are going to buy from him. What used to cause the scarcity then was because NNPC was importing majorly. It wasn't because they were producing locally in situ. So the scarcity then used to be between delays from import and all of that. So once he had on ground, they will have collected it from him and cushioned this effect. Why are we talking as though other people didn't pay subsidy? The thing they needed to fight was the corruption in subsidy. Naira do I pay subsidy in this? Other people pay subsidy. Then the third one, please, I just want to say this one. If I'm given time to say this one.
30 seconds, you have.
The third one is the Forex one. Because now they are beating their chest. Oh, they've gotten a level of convergence, 5% difference. Yes. But do you know that the Naira is still grossly undervalued? Yes. Didn't the World Bank say it? So why have they not gotten to the real value of the Naira? Didn't they remember promises they made? Even, please, fact check me. Was there not a point where I think it was even Mr. Taiwo Idele himself, when he was still in the tax authority, said that the Naira was going to find its value at a certain rate? Is this the rate the Naira was going to find the value?
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Fact check. I might be true, I might not be true on that.
Now, after hearing all that, this is where I think the conversation becomes bigger than Rufai Oseni, bigger than Bola Tinubu himself, and bigger than political arguments online. Because the government can point to 15.8 trillion naira in service. They can point to increased revenue. They can point to NELFUND. They can point to GDP growth and other economic indicators. And those numbers may be important, but Nigerians, just like you and me, also have our own numbers. How much does food cost today? How much does transportation cost? How much does your salary actually buy compared with 2 or 3 years ago? And are you genuinely living better? Because that is ultimately what matters when election time comes. So I'm asking you directly, rate the government from 1 to 10 based on your actual experience, not what you hear from politicians. And more importantly, do you believe the government deserves your vote again in 2027? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you just don't tell me yes or no. I need you to tell me why.